Hey everyone, welcome to the 121. 121. I I I I want to tell you people that I am very grateful to have the chance of sharing with you during these 2 years now. 2 years now of this podcast. I have some rough moments, and my French accent is still awkward as fuck. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better and having more people on the podcast, and our efforts as people in the modern world are the great work is a incredible chance that we have to have access to all this technology that can help us reach people around the world just like that. And this is what we're going to touch on tonight. It's the expression of this of what we're doing as content creator and the philosophy behind it. You can correct me after little this little this little page that I keep on spoiling on the screen all the time because it's so important. Get and just before I get to that, I'm gonna start just and saying to people, get involved. This is why we're here. We're trying to have people align with truth and morality. We're not a cult. We're not a club. We're simple people. We're average Joes, people, blue collars, hard workers. And what we want to do is bring care at the surface. Use our care to build something instead of destroying it. So before we're going further with that. I'm in the swing right there. So the one great work network.com. This is the place where you can get all kinds of information about the occult, about psychology, about astrology, about ancient traditions, religions, the exploration of spirituality, and what it means to be a spiritual being. It's an incredible network of people. Over 70 content creators are doing it for free, for you, for free. You don't have to subscribe to anything. You don't have to put your name. You're going there and it's absolutely free. You can take in the hundreds of hours of incredible work that is shared there. You can encourage them. You can go and encourage these incredible content creators that they're doing the great work. In this case, the great work, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. So I'm gonna not wait and bring up Chris. Hey, brother, welcome.
Hey, Fred. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
So before we're starting and talking about this very interesting subject, uh, can you introduce yourself quickly to people and who you are and where you're from and where you're going, where we can get your stuff?
Sure thing, Fred. Yeah. Chris Jentzen, my website, you can check out endevil.life. If you got any kind of podcast player, you can find the End Evil podcast. And it's a great thing. I think a lot of people listen to it while they're working. And I've done lots of interviews over the years. I got this awesome little group of guys called the One Great Work Warriors. And we put out new content every month. And I've been really pushing real hard with people about networking. That's why I really appreciate people like Fred reaching out to me and showing the people who haven't really got involved the way they want to that this is what we got to do. We got to put out content, connect with other people, and just keep finding new ways to explain natural law. I spent most of my life as a carpenter. I sort of came to these realizations through various avenues, but finally Mark Passio's work really broke through to me. And so I took his class, How to Become the True Media. And that class was the beginning of a lot of learning for me. I wound up joining Autonomy and graduate from Autonomy, learned a lot from Richard Grove and all the awesome folks over there. And I went there because Mark Passio said, hey, that's a good place to go. And I figured if he approved of it, then it was somewhere for me. And so I've been trying to gather the skills to be a real voice out in the public with the content that I create. And it's been quite a journey of learning. And that's what I was hoping to share with you folks tonight that might be listening to Fred's awesome show, LIBERcast, is what I'm going to call the magic of technology. And it's been a long road for me because back in my carpenter days, I didn't even want to, I had a flip phone, let me put it that way. So, hey, there's Crip Rick. What's up, Rick?
We have a lot of things to cover. Just for tonight, just an hour and a half. It's going pretty fast. So, what is your vision? What is your fundamentals about that?
Well, when I started the podcast, I thought a good place to start would be the book, The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke, because that book I feel like does a really good job of kind of summing it all up in a small book, a book that anyone can read. And the La Fin du Mal, that's fantastic. It's really hard to get English version of that book. Very few people have it. But our friend Nate Cap actually has a copy he showed me recently. But that book, he says evil is the destruction of freedom. And I thought, there's a term I can work with because that really explains the problem. The biggest problem that people have trouble seeing is how evil has really sneaky part of our society and the way we live. And it's in our culture. It's in everything we do. And it's been infused that way for so long that people don't even see the evil of it. So we're trying to help folks learn to see evil for what it is. It's destroying freedom. It's destroying the opportunity to choose, which is the most powerful thing we have as human beings, is our ability to think, to choose, to make choices, to change things that are different from the way we came here. We have this amazing gift given to us by the creator, the universe, God, the all, whatever you want to call it. And here we are, right? So what do we do at this time? Do we just watch it go by like an observer, or do we recognize that we're participant and we have the ability to do something in this world? And so I think we have the ability to clean up our act as humans. And by that, I mean, we can do better. We can do actions that don't harm other people. We can not act evil. We can clean up the evil. Just like you have a dirty kitchen and you sweep it up, we have a dirty world with a lot of evil going on right now. We can clean that thing up, and that's what I'm trying to encourage in every way possible, to explain, describe, motivate, encourage people to find the passion and the purpose to actually put their voice out there, as you and I are doing right now.
Mm-hmm. And
as we know, most people aren't very motivated.
Yeah. And I think there's basic things that people must know and understand when it comes to this responsibility that we're taking, because this is a responsibility and it's a huge one. And for the people to understand what it means to compromise, like you mentioned with the One Great Work Warriors, compromise and things like that, sacrifices. I think we're far from that as people, People will sacrifice their life for worthless, inane things, and false dreams, and cultural constructs that mean that leads nowhere. So the work must be aligned with truth. And what is truth?
Well,
It's what is.
it's hard to swallow right now, is what it is. It's
We
a
have,
difficult
and
it's a
the pill
difficult
is,
sharp sword that's
yeah.
hard to touch, and if we mention it, a lot of people shy away from what we're going to say real quick, because the truth is
Hmm.
that we're in slavery, folks. That we're slaves to this modern system, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
ways to prove that that's the case. But I'm telling you that the largest percent of the population, and even listeners to this show, cringe at hearing that and try to say that it's not true and find a million justifications to say no, we're not slaves. We're an evolved culture. We're better than that. But that's the hard
We're
truth.
civilized.
Well, yeah, we
Yeah,
become
civilized
domesticated.
is not the word. Yeah. I would say that the word civilized is strong there. I would not use this word. But I mean, we're at the point where we're tribalists, we're modern tribalists. We're creating all these divisions and these schisms in every aspect, in the micro and the macro, and it makes it difficult to being this slide into darkness, if I can use the thing there. And it's important to stay humble, and I think the one thing that it keeps on people from doing it is fear, and it's always been that fear of being recognized, and fear of backlash, and fear of being known publicly, and showing your face, and partaking in this media, social media, crazy world that it really is. It's really crazy, and I have the chance and the honor of being connected with awesome people that have inspired me, and they showed me the way. So I mean, we cannot grow divided. We cannot grow in hate. We cannot grow in this immature, infantilized state of mind. We're better than that. And what makes it sad is even the people in the spiritual and the freedom movement, they don't even realize these things. I had the chance of doing a two parts, and I'm having the third part. It's culture of freedom for the people who don't know about it. It's in the recent podcast on the LIBERcast. You can go on YouTube, Odysee, and there are more vitriolic, and there's a lot of I want to point some things that keep us from working together on the same page, and hand in hand into for just one thing, just one fucking thing. What is it? Freedom. And we can't even fucking get on the same page on that, because people are fucking divided inside. They're divided in the communities, they're divided in the families. So what we have to do is to break the cycles. And this is what we're trying to do here. We're breaking cycles. We're not just fucking talking out of our asses. We have concrete solutions, 100% guaranteed. It's like I'm selling a fucking car. I'm telling you, people. And the thing that we have to do is fucking doing the work. It's simple, and it's not simple for the people who are lazy, who don't care, but we care. We care. And this is why we're doing what we're doing. Chris?
I think of a lot of times in history when information was, talk about occulted. I've been in the trades a lot of my life doing carpentry work. And when you get in the trades, whether it's carpentry or plumbing or electrical, all along the pathway of learning, when you apprentice with someone who knows better than you learn what they call trade secrets, right? Like not everybody knows these things. They have ways of doing things that work better, techniques and skills that you can apply to do things more efficiently. Well, through the ages, people have learned how to do things better, but we've been really cut apart from our families and our histories in many of our lineages and the way we live. The modern culture is people are very split apart, and they don't have that. No one has taught them these things, right? We haven't passed down information and knowledge well to each other. So, a lot of, in that way, all through history, a lot of storytelling, a lot of family involvement around a fire, a lot of important information is passed down from father to son, from mother to child. Just like I was saying, the tradesman to their apprentice, there's this teaching going on, right? Well, that has been destroyed in the modern culture that we live in, not only in the trades, but also in the world of understanding natural law, of understanding basic common sense morality, that it's so mixed up and so confused because people are all coming from these different religions and cultures and trying to say, oh, everything is right, everybody's culture is right, everybody's religion's right, nobody can possibly be wrong, right? And then you have this influence from those in power that don't want us to connect and network and come to these understandings. And really what's preventing us in the modern day is a bunch of distractions from actually realizing that we have the most powerful tools in front of us that humans have had for like centuries, eons, to communicate these things and to teach one another these things. It should be so easy right now. Like you don't have to tell their grandfather to grandson around a fire and hope they don't forget it. We can record this stuff on video with pictures and 3D graphics. You know what I mean? Like we have the power, like He-Man right now. Like we have the power, but it's upon us, you and me and everyone around us, to grab a hold of that power and put it towards the light, put it towards the work, the hardest things of all to say, the truth, right? That we're slaves. We need to stop. We need to stop beating around the bush and be honest. Like this is the biggest problem. A lot of those other distractions aren't really the biggest problem until we understand this and why this is the case. How are we going to get to the solution, right? You can't do a thing without thinking about a thing first. And that's I think people get shortcutted. They want to stay in the material world, but first, to solve this problem, we have to understand it. We have to be able to conceive of it and communicate back and forth. And that's the level we're at right now, is getting this communication between us and other people, that morality is the main thing that's going on with humans right now, all of us. And that involves us understanding freedom on a mass scale and how it works and how it doesn't work. And what we've been doing up till now didn't work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be slaves right now. So, I mean, that's kind of one way I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, this is a unfortunate condition that we have, and the solution is very easy. And this is why it makes me so angry at times, because it's just the denial of knowledge. They're denying their own soul, they're denying their own morality, their own greatness, because humans are incredible creatures. We're able to do incredible things with our mind, but unfortunately, we chose a path with a lot of suffering. The solution, it's very easy, essentially. Knowledge. You don't have the knowledge, you will not be free. You'll never get free because knowledge, books, and freedom are the same thing. In the language, liber means freedom and books. That's why it's called the LIBERcast. Incredible language that we're having, and most people don't even know their fucking words, the words that they're using every day. And the power of words can instill fear into people, and this is why we're bombarded with entertainment, with shitty music, with false intellectualism and cardboard spirituality. And people are so divided. It's really hard to get through people through social media because it's a fucking zoo. It's a circus. We're supposed to use these tools. Are incredible incredible tools for communication. We can reach on people at any places where they have internet. So it should be easier to connect together. It should be easier to have conversation and debates and arguments and things like that needs to be done. We cannot just circle jerk with information without trying to reach outside. And this is where we're going. This is why we're doing it tonight. I'm not gonna get angry. I'm not gonna swear. I try to not swear because I still have this Quebecer in me. I still have this swearing, vitriolic person in me. But I don't want to do it. Not tonight. I just want to bring people back to the root. Care. And love.
Got a
because
little
if you don't
quote
have
for
that,
you,
go on, Chris. Go on.
Fred. Our Buckminster Fuller said, humanity is acquiring all the right technology for all the wrong reasons.
Yep.
And, I'd written that down ahead of time. And then when I heard you saying just now about, what people are doing with their time, and it just kind of rung a bell in my mind because I just heard someone talking about this too, that, people are watching football. They're watching stupid shows, reruns of stupid shows with their time. And our time is our energy, right? Like that's our blood, like that is the blood of life is your time. And if you're just draining it, just pouring it down a drain of distraction, social media is not the place to start when it comes to content creation. One of the first fundamentals that Mark Passio taught in his course of how to become the media, get a PC computer, or get not even a laptop, a desktop computer, even better, that has enough power, to be able to stream, to be able to actually edit videos, right? Like learning how to edit videos is the modern version of learning how to type. You think back in time when they first invented the printing press, people had no idea how to put their words onto paper, right? You had to have a quill, you had to have ink, you had to have some kind of thing to start a fire and then not burn your house down. It was a lot harder, but we have these amazing tools in front of us. So it falls upon us in this modern age, as much as we don't like the evil side of technology that's distracting and destroying people's lives, we can take advantage of the good side of that, which is, you know, the positive leaves of the tree, right? We can learn how to create content. We can learn how to speak. Look at what all of the things Fred's doing right now. He's streaming to multiple channels. He's learned this over time, how to create his logo, how to have a stream of words on the bottom, how to give you information, how to set up an interview with somebody, how to schedule it, how to have a little logo in the corner. All those things are skills that get picked up over time that you don't get all at once, but they're things that I want to encourage people out there to do, like doing the work, doing the great work. If you're not ready to put your face out there, if you're not ready to speak the way we are, you don't feel like you're that good of a speaker, you can make a video using story blocks and have your words run across the screen. You can make up your own music with your little harmonica or two cups, whatever you know how to do. Find a way to express yourself and publish your work. That's a modern version of knowing how to write, of literacy, basic literacy, being able to put a video on YouTube. And it's kind of fun. See how many comments you can get. See if you can get people's attention. And the whole point here is that our currency, our energy, our life flicker of what we are is what we're paying attention to and what we're focusing. The more of our time that we're focusing on caring, like Fred says, about the future of all humans, about humanity itself, about our life and our decisions, the more that we're contributing to a better future. How could that not be the case? Doesn't that seem as common sense could be, right? I mean, I'm not seeing how people aren't getting this. I understand your frustration. I do.
I mean, there's like I mentioned, there's knowledge that is necessary for people to do this work. So there's realizations and studies that we can do, and people don't fucking wait. It took me years to do what I'm doing now, to get comfortable with the rhetorics, with the doctrines, and teaching them in 2 languages. It wasn't easy. You make mistakes, and you're having problem and troubleshooting during the podcast. I remember clearly, when you start, you make mistakes, and it's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody can make it perfect the first time. So if I can make it, being a French Quebecer and reach out to English people and French people and European people, then you can do it. And that's not an obligation to do a podcast like we're doing now. You can do music.
And Fred's doing it
like
well.
direct.
He has a full family with 3 kids, which is just mind-blowing. There's people out there that are single that aren't doing any work. 4 kids. Yeah. He's got a handful, and he's still finding time in his schedule and life to do this work. I think that's commendable, and it goes to show to people out there that you can look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Fred.
I mean, this we were talking about compromise and sacrifice and things like that. And in this case, it's not for me. It's not compromise. It's not sacrifice. This is what I need to do. This is what we need to do as workers. And we're using the word work because it's no coincidence. It is a work. It is hard work. And there's many examples I can use like that, like Mark Passio's, who inspired dozens and hundreds of people to get into this information. He did it by himself at first. Incredible fucking work. Still goes on, still reaching people. And it's inspiring. to have the you, Chris, and Will Kellers, and the Cubby Hall, and you have the Girls Club now. New people are getting in.
Yeah,
New people
Brandon
are joining
Spencer's
up
got a
and trying to do.
24-hour live stream going now, similar to the One Great Work Network
Yeah.
on Twitch.
By the way, Brendan's work is fucking awesome, people.
I'll say.
Go there. It's fucking presentation on behaviorism. It's fucking mind blowing. It's mind blowing stuff.
Oh,
So
that is a
yeah,
good
there's
one. Skinner
fucking
and
hundreds of
And then
hours of
Derek's been
incredible
pumping
stuff.
out a lot of great media, and he does such artistic work that goes to show, again, like we're talking about employing the technology. I mean, we become
Yeah.
modern version of magicians, sorcerers. Like we employ and express what we care about in an artistic manner. It makes it that much more digestible and understandable for other people. Derek's infusing music along with quotes from these wonderful people and mixing it all together. So it's kind of like this eye candy. And, when I see him sharing those kind of things. Now, when you create work like that and you share it on social media, now you have something worthy to share instead of just going on there and going on somebody else's thread and talking down their comment, or I think I know better. Like, how about create something that shows something that might actually teach something? One man can do the work of 50 ordinary men. No machine can do the work of one extraordinary man or woman. That's Elbert Hubbard. So, when I first started doing this work, Fred, I was pretty Luddite, I guess is the word. I did not know. It took me buying, like, this is probably my fourth computer before I got I kept buying a cheap computer, and then I would realize it wasn't strong enough to do what I needed to do. Or I would already have learned so much and have grown so much in the content I was creating and the work I was doing that I would need a better computer within a year's time. And there's been so much to learn on this path that I encourage people get started sooner than I did. I was in my late 30s, before I really started catching on to this stuff. And so, now I'm finally starting to get to the point where I have a basic, pretty good concept of the technology I'm using. But even within that, there's so much more I can do. And I'm looking forward to learning it and sharing it with other people. And in fact, this coming week on End Evil on the podcast, I'm going to be doing an episode with the One Great Work Warriors, and we're calling it The Art of the Craft. And it is actually, this episode is going to be about the subject we're talking about now, about how do we express ourselves online? How do we teach? How do we teach this method? And I want to encourage people too, you don't have to understand everything in and out 100%. You can speak from what you do know. Say, here's what I get. These are the parts I don't understand yet. Just be honest, and people will help you. You'll actually get good comments. It's amazing because of the content I create and the way I present myself. So rare how I ever had any kind of negative comments out there. You know what I mean? Depending on how you present yourself and what you do with your content, you don't have to be worried about people not liking what you do. You're going to find that if you put positive things into the world, try to help people are going to appreciate it, and you're going to get positive comments, right? And I've found that to be true. I don't know about you, Fred, but I've had very positive interactions online, and that's how I've met more other content creators, because when you put your neck out, when you create something, then other people that create have a certain respect for that, and then they want to talk to you, and they're curious about what you have to say. You know what I mean? You're not just another commenter.
The reach as such is it's an easy thing to do. I consider it easy now after all these episodes and video editing and playing with things and exploring softwares. It's a must. And I did the How to Be the True Media from Mark Passios, and it's been a really helpful. I'm gonna do it to this year too. I'm gonna get into that class and relearn some things because I forgot some things and I was confused about something. So I have the chance of doing the course once again this year. So I mean, where to start? First of all, you have to be you have to be hungry for knowledge and knowing things about how to communicate. So there's basic things that you can do. It's first of all treating yourself like like correctly and giving you space and breaks and having do steps by step. You have to learn things, you have to be focused, and you have to concentrate. And there's plenty of people such as me or Chris or other people who can help you achieve it. There's nothing we cannot do in the technology sense. If you have access to technologies and resources, then it's going to be easier for sure. If you're ready to get involved and put a little bit of your time, just a little bit. You start with doing shadow working and having the knowledge, getting the knowledge from the occult, and then doing the work. And then when you're ready, now there's the time. This is the time there where you have to. This is the leap of faith. You have to get out of your comfort zone and do something that you didn't talk about, you didn't think about. I never thought that I would do a podcast. Before I was shy. I didn't want to get involved too much into the internet. And then one day, after being shaken up by Mark Passio, I decided to get involved and to not keep this information for myself, because you acquire a lot of knowledge, and one day you're gonna have to express it, because you cannot contain all this knowledge for yourself. You have to talk about it. You have to get comfortable with the rhetorics and comfortable with the grammar, because there's people who will challenge you. And
one good way
sadly, go on, man.
I was going to say one good way for people to like kind of bone up or practice, or a lot of good examples would be you mentioned cubbyhole.com, and then there's seedtruth.com. Brandon Martin, those guys were a big inspiration for me early on after I had gone through Mark Passio's work, because they had the seed conferences. And I think when I first started watching, they were on like the third one or something. And if you go back to those seedtruth.com or cubbyhole.com and look up those seed conferences, and then off of those, I was inspired and got together with Will and some other folks, and we created the funnel conferences. And so, I want to encourage people to check out freedomundernaturallaw.com, because those, if you go back, they're all there. You can look at the past conferences. Like if you look at the first Funnel One conference, like some of those presentations were very basic. A lot of us were just learning how to create presentations. Some people, it was their very first time ever creating a presentation. And then you can kind of see the progression of how our technology came along, and how Funnel 2 conference was a little more better put together, and there were a lot more people involved. And then Funnel 3 was just pretty amazing in a lot of ways, but top notch in terms of the technological skill you can see that people employed in their presentations and in the way the whole conference went. So I would recommend people check out those seed conferences and the Freedom Under Natural Law conferences. There are a lot of good examples of different people presenting themselves in all kinds of different styles. And some are very simple, and some use very fancy graphics, right? And you get to see the whole range and find what style appeals to you. And you can gather a lot of fundamental information through these people that share it freely. And there it is.
Yeah, I mean, these conference were fucking awesome. And this is the freedom under natural law, and then there was I cannot uh, quite quickly remember James Cordiner. He organized with someone
Oh,
else. I couldn't.
Shattering the Illusion conference.
Shatter the illusion. Yeah,
Shattering the
he
Illusion,
really,
another
he
great
really was.
resource. I
Yeah,
can't believe I didn't think to mention that. Yep. I think that can be found on YouTube
yeah.
and Odysee.
His first presentation on freedom on the natural law. Yeah, great creators, and these. I mean, it's hours. You know, I did one with French people. It was 10 hours long, and there were many artists and talk and people wanted to share their knowledge and things like that. It was a great experience. Was it was called Carrefour 2023, and it was a great experience. I would like to do it again for sure, but I don't have the people, so I would have to have response from people first, and it would be great. But yeah, this is I'm it's like swimming against the river, and you have all the dead fish, fucking following the river, and you have to go counter current, and I like this. I like sharing people's opinions and having discussions, and it that's what makes us growing into this incredible community that we have when we have the people. And I mean, I did rant about that, and I was about to start renting, um but I would like to see more people involved in it, even in the communities, even in even in the one great work, even this unity. This is what I would like to see. And it's there's some unity. I'm not saying that some people are not together, but we need to build upon with solid foundations. And sadly, we cannot fucking get together on one principle, and this principle is change. It's growing, is transmuting all these imperfections, all these cultural indoctrination, these cultural programs that we've been sold. And I and what is very powerful about that is that we just need will and care. This is a willful consent into this work. So if you don't have the people, we will we will struggle to get this information out, even with the internet. If there's so many barriers, opinions, biases, beliefs that are standing up between us, it's a crazy, crazy world.
You know, one of the biggest
And
things too out there
well,
is distractions. People are just so distracted, right,
yeah,
Fred?
oh yes. and we have our own distractions. I have a lot of distractions, but I keep on doing it. I keep on focusing and on my family's life and the great work. And you know what, brother? They're not separated. They are my great work. There's no separation. You align yourself with it, you understand it, and then you imbue yourself with this knowledge and this fucking incredible sun, this energy that we are made of. We are an incredible creature. But we're fucking we're fucking wasted by all these programs, all these entertainments, all these different belief system and slavery and the Stockholm syndrome, that prevents us from growing up in this world. And I ask myself, why are we doing fucking cartoons, you know, Japanese cartoons, about natural law. You have these trying to reach out to people, when there's some awesome metal bands that are talking about some sensibly uh, uh, same things there in the metal, but I know there's direct work. He's doing music and consciousness music and freedom and natural law and things like that. And I mean, there's so much things that we can do. And some people it's going to be easier to get out in the real world and then doing uh, in person conference, organizing things and getting people together and having a discussion about it. It's not only on the internet. Family and the people you're working with. It's an everyday, every moment work. I know it's not easy to get out in the world and sharing these peculiar ideas and these rhetorics, and people are very fearful of what they don't understand. So we have to reach to a greater uh, uh, demography, wider sense, and having people with I'm a little rough in the corners. I'm swearing and I'm vitriolic at times, but I know there's a lot of people who keeps it general for most people. So I try to get better, and I think this is where we're going with this. And the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, how much do you care?
Yeah,
If
you said something to me in the beginning, Fred, where you said, I'm trying to remember exactly how you put it, but you said, well, I know that when I die, that I put my effort into this, right? And I think that is something that people need to hear. Like, one day you are going to die, and you have to ask yourself, how much how much energy, how much care and love did you put into what you know to be right deep down? And did you figure out what you know to be right deep down? Because if you didn't do that, that's an opportunity that you had to do. That is what we're here to do. And when you do that and you shine and you blast it out, then at least, like Fred says, when you die, you know that you did something worthwhile with your time. You don't have to wonder about that.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. I was telling Chris before the show that I don't want to die and tell my children that I did nothing. I expect to die, I know I'm gonna die and things like that, but I'm not thinking about that now. I'm more focused on life and trying to create. Do I have the time to study all I want? No, I don't have the time because I made choices. I have responsibilities. It doesn't make it doesn't make me it doesn't mean that I don't have the time to learn. I'm constantly I need to be constantly intellectually stimulated. I get bored very easily. When I'm talking with people generally in the real world, the inane small talks, things like that. I cannot get into it. I want my minutes and my words and my efforts to. I don't want to waste them. I don't want to waste my heartbeat, like you were saying, the blood and the time and the our currency that it is our time. And every time people are not doing anything, and every time people not get involved, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And the people who don't see it right now is because you're ignorant. And ignorance is the root of all evil. It literally is the root of all evil. So every time people ignore information, every time people are ignoring evil and they're doing nothing, then it's contributing into this evil that it's upon us. It's not like getting to us. It's not coming. It's already there. Here in Canada, shit is hitting the fan now. We're not fucking messing around. I'm not telling you that it's coming and that we're gonna have a savior. Not waiting after someone, a Jesus, an extraterrestrial, these fucking scavengers that we call politicians. All they can do is lie and deceive those and you. Slavery. Government is slavery. And only on that knowledge, this truth there, because it's a truth, it's based on truth. I'm not surprised that we're going in the shitter just like that, and we're not doing anything.
Well, there's an election coming up, Fred. I think
Oh yeah,
everybody, we got to send them a message. It's right on my shirt.
I,
Vote for nobody. This
I like it.
is a shirt I got
Yep,
from James
I like
Cordner.
it very much.
Nobody's got the solution. Nobody knows all the answers, right? Yeah, it's an imaginary concept that people think that these rulers can govern all these masses of people, and it's such a hard perspective to grab hold of. But once you look at it, you really start to see how real ridiculous it is. One example I've tried to share with people is try to go out to dinner with 3 or 4 people and satisfy everybody's desires in terms of where they want to go. That's hard to do with 2 people sometimes. And here people think that you can make decisions for masses of people and you can have representatives that come up with how everybody should live in the whole country. It's just absolutely ridiculous and preposterous concept that some people should rule
Mhm.
over other people, and that, oh, you could vote the next ruler in place, but they can make any series of decisions and laws, and you just have to follow them, even if you don't agree with them from your moral heart. I mean, it's absolutely silliness, you know. And if we weren't born in it and indoctrinated in it from the time we were born, we would be able to see how ridiculous that the whole concept of authority and voting and government and ruling one another is. But you know, we got to keep finding ways to explain that silliness to people so they can observe it, finding new ways to illuminate the ridiculousness of it. Like Lark and Rose did with Jones Plantation.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm telling to people, it's like you're like someone who is in the darkness, and you're trying to doing a puzzle in the darkness. You can't fucking see shit. You're never gonna be able to do the fucking puzzle. You have to have light to see through this darkness. And I'm using the word light, but we can interchange that with knowledge and ignorance for the darkness. So you want to go fucking in the darkest and not seeing anything, and maybe hurt your toe or hurt your knee, you know, metaphorically, and not gonna see anything, and you're gonna live in your fucking illusory world, this illusion that you created for yourself between your ego and your super ego, living on the fringe, having like false dreams, false goals, living in lies, fucking drinking at the mouth of these motherfuckers, these gurus, these spiritual gurus, these politicians, these religionists, because this is what this is about, essentially. It's about mind control. It's always about mind control. So if the government, if the church, if the fucking cults are telling you that your value is less than what it really is, then you're gonna fucking accept it. Take the fucking pill and swallow it. And you're gonna ask for another one after that. Your value is infinite, like in the end of all evil. So just imagine the potential that we have just with 50 persons that would work together and build something. Only 50 working hand in hand, instead of our fucking bickering and small chicanery, and not being able to have a entertaining ideas, are entertaining the possibility of something else, imagination. Because we can, there's a lot, and I like the metaphor of the hypercube in this case. So you have people who think they are out of the matrix. Well, essentially they have came into another one. And this is the spiritual trap. The people who are like fucking living a status or religionist, and then they fucking wake up to the lies and deceptions, and they're becoming, or fucking, I don't know what all they call themselves, the people who are doing supposedly shadow working in pajamas, and taking, oh, this is only a story, you know, it's only a story. Yeah. Instead of fucking learning how to grow food, learning and how to fucking communicate with other, acquiring knowledge. Go on, brother.
Oh, you were reminding me of that recent presentation I did with the trap within a trap. You know, I was kind of describing, you know, the walls of the box that surround us, the way so many aspects of our society, the religions that people pass down from their parents, right? The education system, the media, right? The terrible food. It goes on and on. All these different ways that we're trapped, and then inside of all of that, many of us are trapped in our own psychological damage because of traumas we've faced in our lives throughout the years. We have our emotional problems in relationships with other human beings. And I think that is a deeper trap that I didn't even get to in that presentation that I would have liked to, that, I think is really at the forefront of most people's lives, is that we have to start. You've often said this more than anyone, with the self work, Fred, and doing the inner work. And a lot of times what that is being able to deal with the people right around you, being able to have a decent relationship with other human beings. And in our world, that's often human beings that we don't agree with on a lot of things. I know many people I have to deal with that are on different varying degrees of understanding from my understanding of morality. And yet I have to deal with these people and accept them for who they are. And I think it's important to differentiate too. Like, it's important to always be teaching wherever you can, whenever you can. But the internet is sort of a special place where we have the ability to amplify our voice and record it and put it somewhere where other people can look when they're ready. If you're trying to shove this stuff down the throat of somebody in the car with you who can't get out, they're going to be resistant. They're going to know you're just shoving it down their throat, and they're going to be resistant, and it's going to be that much harder for them to hear you. And so I guess the point I'm getting at is that we can really employ this technology that we have to amplify our voice to hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And in our personal lives, that means getting right with the people around us and being able to be a decent human being with the people we live with and interact with in our day-to-day life, so that we can be in a place where we're calm enough and are able to speak out and say these things clearly and express ourselves online and create basically a trail out of this trap, right? And so I'm going to say getting out of this trap is twofold. It's getting out of your own mental trap. And a lot of times that's dealing with relationships and your own relationship with yourself. And then dealing with the world and your relationship with all these structures in the world that are trying to keep you down. And so you're going to need help for that. And you're going to have to create, I think that's about building a network. And you can start building by that network by creating platforms online, by putting your videos online, by putting your expression and yourself online in such a way that other people can meet and connect with you. And then you can create this network I'm describing that will help you, build from there.
I have a question for you. What would be the first thing that you would suggest to someone who wants to get involved? The first thing that you would suggest to anyone to do when they're starting this work?
I was thinking actually I would give like a five-step process, because this is something my self-defense teacher preaches to me a lot. And he says, if you want to be a master at something, there's a 5-step process. And I might not say it quite as perfect as he does, but the first step of that 5-step process is finding your passion. What are you passionate about? You got to know deep down what you're passionate about. And for us, where you and I share on that, is we're super passionate about freedom. We don't want humans to be in slavery, not ourselves, not others, right? We're super passionate about that. And so if you find that passion, that purpose, that's the first step. The next step then is find someone out there who's a master at that thing that you're passionate about. For me and you, I think it was Mark Passio. It was someone who was out there exemplifying what we saw as what needed to be done, is helping teach natural law and explain it in a way that it can be well understood in a careful manner, right? So you find somebody who's already a master at what you're passionate about. That's step 2. The step 3 is to study their work carefully. You know, that's why, like with the Passio work, we were all instructed start from the beginning, go all the way through. And, you know, those of us that really come to understand it did that. We went through it carefully. So the third step of the is find that master, study that master's work thoroughly, right? And then the next step is emulate. Try to do what they do. You know, try to build a presentation, try to build a podcast, try to build a show. Try to copy the people that have inspired you, that are your masters. Try to do something like what they did. And most of them, if you're careful or if you ask permission, don't even mind if you copy their work to a certain extent, right? I mean, make it your own. But that's actually the fifth and final step. Then is once you can do what the master you've been studying is doing, then you make it your own and you infuse your own person and your own creativity and your own love into it, and you make it you and you give it your personality. And I would say that process applies to anything you want to be a master at.
I mean, for myself, and I can only speak for myself, but I um, I wasn't comfortable with the fact of exposing myself, and I think this is the one thing I fought against, this fucking awkwardness that we have, and being afraid of doing mistakes, and it's an incredible journey into self-realization and self-awareness in other sense, and it's very important uh, um, to be objective in that, and being humble about this, and treat truth and knowledge with respect. You have to respect it, you have to understand it, and there's a way to know, to determine truth, and it's very important to get focus on what you're doing. You cannot be at two places at the same time in your mind. Sure, there are some people who can do three things, four things, but essentially, when you're doing that, you're not focusing completely on the work.
I've challenged people
And
before, try to look at two things at once. It's it's
yeah,
it's impossible. You really can't. You can
it's
only
impossible.
really look at one thing at a time, and you can really only do one thing at a time.
It's like I was listening to Mark's podcast at work when I was working. I had this chance to being able to listen to his work, and I mean, I it was like slapping me hard, brother. It was like I was realizing things, and I was, oh my fucking god! This is where you're getting it. It hits hard. When you understand the veracity of the information and the truthfulness of it, and you can totally like see the patterns, and incredible journey into discovering the self and discovering the universe. You have to have this passion inside of you. You have to find a way to express it, and there's millions of way of doing it. And I would encourage people to do your own work. Do the great work, and you're gonna know what you're gonna do. You're not gonna have to, like, waste fucking 24 hours and thinking hard about it and having like deep fucking thing. It's gonna come by itself, because this is what it did to me. All the shadow working, I was doing it without knowing it was shadow work, and the introspection and all these things, you know, and I have the chance of having a beautiful women take advantage and find uh, positive and force into what I'm doing. And she's called Jennifer. I made a podcast with her, and if I have one person, like I was saying to you earlier, if I reach to only one person or 1% of the people, I will be happy with it. I will be happy to have the people with the same fire inside of them, the same passion, and only be there when people help they need it, and bring and open your arms and bring people in and trying to make them realize their potential. And this is what you're doing. We're not selling a cult right here. We're trying to brainwash you into freedom.
It does hurt a little, but it's good for you.
Yes.
I can remember Fred back in 2019, right before 2020 is about the time when I first started releasing End Evil presentations for this podcast, and I was pretty alone back then. I didn't know none of my close family, none of my close friends, nobody that I knew really close was vibing with me on the natural law studies and understanding that government is slavery. I was the only person I know that would speak like that. And now, which is about 4 years later, um, almost everyone I talk to during the week are people that understand natural law. I'm in different meetings. The people I'm around day to day, Leslie, and that came about by just focusing my light in the direction of the light, no matter how bright it was or how scary it was at times. And it was scary at times. I had to make some hard life decisions that, um, it's not easy to choose this path, but kind of like a climber climbing the mountain, you're never going to get to the top. You never get that experience of calling yourself a mountain climber if you don't start that journey, if you don't try to achieve something, if you don't try to climb that mountain. But once you go full force into it, you find friends, you meet other people on the journey that not only are instantly kind of like your peers, but you're inspiring other people that might not have ever got off their butt. And you, whoever's listening, might be 10 times better at that than me. You know what I mean? So, and then later I would love to hear nothing more than someone saying, "Oh, I heard this conversation with Fred, this dude Fred, and this weird big nose guy called Chris, and they were talking all about natural law, and oh my gosh, it stuck with me. And then I started speaking out." That's what we're trying to do. That's the game right now. We're not trying to say we're all ready to eliminate government overnight. We would love to, but that does not happen without people realizing that government is evil first. In other words, you can't fill up a bucket of water if you don't first think to yourself, "I'm going to fill up a bucket of water." First, you have to understand what you're doing, and we're not there yet. We don't understand that natural law is the force, that the balance of all humans, the things that we do that affect each other and create this world of whether we're free or slaves. When we all understand that deep down, that our moral choices create this environment we live in, then we understand what we're doing. Oh, we're going to put the water in the bucket. That means, oh, we're going to stop creating systems of authority that rule out people's opportunity to choose. Why would we do that? Because that would create evil and destruction for everyone, right? We would stop doing those things. But first we have to realize, and to realize right now, we need to share that message in every way possible. And that is the game that we're trying to encourage you as a listener to do.
Yeah, I'm a common sense influencer, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A common sense encourager and influencer. Yep.
Yeah, common sense, people. It's all about that. I was telling to French people, you don't have to call it natural law. You just call it common sense.
Really, what
cause and
else is
effect.
objective morality? It's just objectively trying to all put our heads together and say, what's the most terrible things we don't want to do, and what are the most good things that we could all do? That's all it is. It's not that friggin' complicated, Oh, maybe we shouldn't
Yeah.
kill each other. That for no reason, unless people try and kill us. Okay.
Yeah, and people are confused by this.
Yeah, what?
No
There's no such
freedom
thing as
and you
objective.
know and anarchy and voluntarism and things like that. Fucking the people I've seen generations and the one young man I discussed with was completely broken, completely brainwashed. This was a perfect dystopian civilian, and it was it's impressive and it's terrifying at the same time, because they're gonna be the people who are gonna take the fucking wheels later. And I mean, this is why I keep on fucking keep the LIBERcast grounded to the grounded and rooted into the ground. Sure, we're looking to the meta. I'm talking about a lot about shadow working and things like that, and introspection and the occult. It's in the meta, but there's no separation there, and this is what is important to not forget. There's no separation between the spiritual world and the world that we see as nature. They're one and the same. Nature is uh, no, is spirit is invisible nature, and nature is visible spirit. This is our world, and this is where we have to do the fight. This is where we're doing you're taking the battle, because this is a war. This is a fucking war, and these people are fucking whooping our asses. They're very good at it. Very good. Maybe not us. Maybe a lot of people don't can see through their bullshit and their lies and their deceptions, but most people cannot fucking even. They cannot even fucking see the truth about themselves. So this is why it's called the great work. We have to influence people in common sense, in truth and love and care. It's not gonna be easy. Maybe it's not gonna happen, but we're not gonna stop fighting. We don't have this luxury to stop, because there are not much people who are doing it. We're an handful of people, sadly, unfortunately. And this is why we have to work twice as hard. And before we're finishing it up, so an hour and 20 minutes. It's going fast, really fast, because I can go on for 2 more hours on my side. But I want to thank you, Chris, for joining me tonight and uniting with my work. And you're one of the pillars, like the guests, like the people who are listening to the show. You are all the pillars of the LIBERcast and the great work. And we need all of you. All of you, the people who are listening. I know I've seen Sarah. She's already doing the work. Crip Rick. There was I've seen Logan Hart. I've seen
Chris
on Facebook.
Nelson,
Yeah, Chris Nelson was there.
Leslie was in the
I cannot
chat.
see all the comments. Yeah, Leslie.
But yeah,
So
thank you
I mean,
to Fred for doing this show and for having me on. I want to really thank you and it's very commendable, I would say too, because I've been seeing you showing up at my podcast and other people's work, and Sarah Cross, some of these people that really make it a point to support other people's work and share their work on social media. And you guys that do that, I really appreciate that. And I think the people that are watching, I hope they see that and see like, wow, these guys are forming a community. Natural law really works. Like when you care about people, they care about you too. And when they see you're doing the right thing, they get on the same page with you because that is the right thing and it is obvious. And so thanks for doing that, Fred. I really appreciate your support and what you're doing out here.
I it's my pleasure, really. I enjoy it, and I enjoy a fight too. I can enjoy having a different perspective and opinions of others, and this is what it's all about. It's about growing. Will, much love, brothers. Welcome, brother. Thank you for being there.
Another fellow warrior.
So that, oh, yeah, content creators were there. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your presence. And for the people who don't know, the LIBERcast is an open podcast. Means that if you have knowledge that you want to share with people, you're comfortable in front of the camera, you don't have to show your face, you just there and your voice and talk about things that you want to bring. I invite you cordially to contact me. My name is there. Oh, my name is there. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Odysee, a BitChute. I try to upload there. It's fucking. It's tiring. This fucking upload on BitChute. It's hell. So I'm working on that, trying to upload all the podcast. And thank you so much, people. Thank you so much. And I just want to bring another. I forgot about the date, but I'm gonna have. Come on, come on. I'm gonna have June 12th, Wednesday. I'm gonna have the girls club on the podcast, and I'm looking for other people. I'm in talking with other people too. So there's many more that come into work, and I'm gonna try to promote as much people as I can in this great work and encourage people. Thank you again, people. Take care of yourselves, and see you on Wednesday. Take care.